Same with this colony. They've tried to remove the pad, which is what you want to see.
Is there any more than that?
No, that's good for that. We'll just give them another one in a week. That's fine, yeah. We're going to close this one up. Okay guys, keep in mind it's a dirt, and if you look at the size of this box of bees, this isn't typical. Now, in our area, the reason our boxes are full like this is because we're stimulating that queen and we're keeping her pushing forward instead of having her slack off by not laying because there's no nutrition coming in. This box is also full. If you'll zoom around here, I'll show you the bottom of the box. I mean, it's just covered in bees. And that's because we're keeping these colonies stimulated with sugar syrup and pollen supplement. And in our area, it's vital to have good, strong colonies going into winter. Our winter's not bad, but I like to have a big cluster going into winter, so I got some bees to work with coming into the spring. And since we started this method of management, as far as keeping our bees, you know, fed during the dearth, we've really benefited from it, and it's helped out a lot. Now keep in mind, these colonies are still going to shrink some because the queen, even though we're feeding them, the queen's not going to want to build this colony up. Oh goodness, build this colony up the way she would during the springtime. This fell off, so I'm just going to check it for some for the queen, make sure she's not in here anywhere. And I don't see her. I hope, you know, it shouldn't have fell off, but it did. But we're going to continue to maintain these colonies by feeding them. But they are going to shrink due to attrition. Bees are dying every day, and the queen's not continuing to produce as many eggs as she was. Okay guys, I was telling you about our boo-boo cell builder. Yesterday what happened was I was wearing a regular veil. I was just going to take a quick peek in here, see if they had accepted most of our cells. And it was late in the afternoon. I didn't have a smoker with me or anything, and I didn't tie my veil off. I took about 6 stings to the head and the side of the face, and I had my cell frame and my graphs in my hand. Well, I dropped them, and I took off running to get rid of the bees because they was tearing me up. And they would be okay, but I got a good feeling most of them was probably knocked or jarred loose from the royal jelly, the base of the cup. So it's just as we could probably try to use them and see what happened, but it's only going to set us a day behind. So we're going to regraft, and I'll show you the cells in here. Keep in mind it's easier to raise queens in a time of plenty, and what I mean by that is a good strong pollen and nectar flow. The bees are more readily to raise queens then than they are in the dirt. So we're feeding these bees heavily, and we've got pollen supplement on them. We try to give them everything they need to make sure these cells get off to a good start. And I'm just pulling the cell bar out now. I just want to see. Well, it looks like they're still working all the cups. That's I hate to tear these off because I mean that's near 100% take from what I can tell anyway. One out of 30 didn't take. Man, I dropped this daggum cell bar. Stuck in the brush. I don't like it brush. Keep in mind, this is a synthetic fiber brush. We're still tearing it up. But that's basically what our grass look like. Full of royal jelly. Almost capped. Guys, I think we're going to do an experiment with this and just wait and see what happens. I'm going to put them back in. Real gently. I'm going to put this pollen supplement back over the top of them. I keep that right over the top of the frame. Man, what? I don't know. I don't know what to do, guys. I mean, risk it and regraft. Those cells look great. The pool of royal jelly was great. It's getting later in the season for us. It's going to be harder to make queens. So leave it in the comments if you ever dropped your cell frame and did it work. So I think we're going to try it and see. And we don't have to have these queens right now. We're just using them to requeen colonies and make a few additional splits. So we're going to see what they do, see how they look when they emerge. We're going to put this back together. This here is my queen right portion of the builder. And this is just a frame of food on top. Guys, it's real important when you're moving bees to give them as much room for ventilation as possible so they don't overheat. Bees can overheat in a real hurry. We've got these boxes separated out as far as we can. And we're just going to strap these down. Just like so. We're going to close it up. And we're going to go on to the next bee yard. Just always check your lids, check your boxes. These pallets make it a lot easier to move them. So, like I said, we got 8 we're going to start the new yard with. And we got it bush hogged this week and got it ready, got it set up. It's a lot of work moving bees. Even this small amount of bees is getting ready for it and getting the move done. Takes about all day. So thanks for watching. We'll see you at the new yard. Well, hey guys, we're back out at one of our newly established yards, and what we're going to be doing today, we transported these bees over here in the back of our truck. Sometimes, not often, but sometimes that can cause the bees to ball the queen, and your colony will be queenless and you don't know it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be spot checking these, making sure they're queen right. And since they don't have any cap brood yet, we're going to go through and hit them with oxalic acid vapor. That's a perfect time to knock your mite levels down and get them ready to build up strong. So that's what we're doing today. We're just going to spot check these. We're not really digging too deep into them. We just want to see that they're queen right before we waste a treatment on them. That's that dry sugar we've been using on them just as an emergency feed. We're going to be coming through and dropping syrup before long, but that's just something to give them to eat while they've got some stores in the comb, but that's something to give them to eat on and help reduce that stress level. And it's also an emergency supplement in case we can't get out here for whatever reason. That's just a frame of foundation. And like I said, we're just spot checking. We're not going through and heavily inspecting each colony. This was the one that was already established from the other lot, I believe, because it's got some sealed brood, but still not enough. It's still enough to warrant hitting it with oxalic acid. A lot of stores, a lot of brood on this frame. I'm just looking for a queen. I do see eggs, but it hadn't been 3 days since we brought it over here. Yeah, a lot of good pollen in this frame. There's our queen, so we're okay on this one. She's marked. She's doing good. So that's all I want to see in this colony. I'm going to close it up and get ready to hit it with some oxalic acid vapor. And keep in mind, we're also going to come through and treat all these with Guard this year as well. We're going to treat all our bees with Apic-Guard again this year. We had good luck with it last year, and as that time comes, we'll walk you through that. It can be a little tricky to use in the heat. Hey guys, I'm not sure if you can tell or not on this one. This is one of the colonies that didn't make it, that we made a split out, or was splitting. And there's a wax moth larva right there on the end of my hive tool. Well, it must have flew off. So what we need to do is we need to protect these boxes, and what we're gonna, there's the moth right there. He's back down in here. So we need to protect these boxes because we're going to use them for a future split here in about another 2 weeks. So what we're going to do, all we do is, I'm going to take these off. I know it doesn't have a queen in it. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take this queen excluder. I'm going to come to a real strong colony. Like this one here. All the bees on here. And I'm going to take this box. Put the queen excluder on it just to make it easier for me when I go to make my split. You don't have to use an excluder. Probably honestly be better not to use an excluder. The bees will access it more readily without one. And we're going to set it right over top of this colony here that is super strong, and that'll protect our combs in here so we don't have any issues with small hive beetles or wax moths. And we're going to put this one on here also, right on top, just like so. And we've got our combs ready. It's got some straggler bees in it, but that's okay. There's no queen in it. All these bees on top of here, we're going to put them right in here. And that's how we're going to protect these combs until we use them later on in the season. Now, it won't work all season long to do it like this, but while you still got the bee power, it'll work really good for you. That's your beekeeping tip of the day. Thanks for watching. Happy beekeeping. As you can see, we use a 1.5 inch spacer rim. If you don't have those, I recommend you making some or buying some. They really work out well for us, and we use them for a lot of different things. Hey guys, it's July 19th and we're out here doing our mite treatments. This year we're using Apic-Guard again. We used it last year and we had good luck with it. It's hot outside. It's about 100 degrees, so you got to be really careful using this stuff, and we're going to be showing you how we do it. We're going to be using a half dose, but we're also going to be coming back through these yards keeping an eye on our colonies with this heat, because we may have to take it off of these colonies and reduce the dose. You can actually run your bees out of the colony. They'll cluster under the bottom board. They can abscond from it, so you just got to be careful with it. It works really well. It's thymol. It's a natural product. It's not really a hard chemical, but sometimes those more natural, the thymol and formic acid, can be harder on your bees than the chemical treatment. So you just got to be mindful of it. But we're here today. We're going to show you how we do it. Okay, guys, on this stuff you want to stir it up really good. And like I said, we're doing a half a dose. The recommended dose is 50 milliliters, but we're only going to do 25. And like I said, we're going to monitor it real closely. And once we get it in our syringe here, it comes with these applicator pads if you buy it by the tubs. We're just going to squirt it onto the applicator pad just like so. And like I said, we used a feeder rim, and what that does, it gives it a little bit of space for the bees to actually work that Apic-Guard. Now this, I know you're probably thinking it's going to look a little different, but this super here has no stores in it, or no brood in it at all. No eggs, I checked. All it has is some honey. So I'm going to put it on top because I want the bees to, I want that apiary guard to be as close to the brood nest as I can get it. And like I say, we'll probably do 3 rounds of this treatment a week apart with 25 grams or milliliters. So that's what we're doing. We'll take you along. You can really hear them whenever they're starting to roar. We're also doing a queen check. We're going to just quick assessment and make sure that they got a queen before we waste our time treating them. Okay guys, and like I said, we're going to feed these, it's thinner than 1-to-1 to really stimulate the queen and get these extra 4 frames drawn out. And we're just using a division board feeder. If this colony was smaller, I would pull them closer to the feeder just to make sure they can access it real easy and get what they need. And basically that's all we do to feed these bees. We just fill this up, just like so. Run it out everywhere, but that's okay. We'll wash that down with some water. We're going to throw some pollen supplement on these bees, and we're going to put it directly over the brood nest. And to do that, I'm just going to lay one here. Well, I'm going to put it here and up front. Right there, and one here. And that's all we do, guys, to feed these colonies. He's just going to rinse that extra down just to prevent robbing. I don't think we'd have a major issue in this yard because all these colonies are about the same size. But I don't know how many other beekeepers is in the area. I don't know of any, but you never know. So there could be a yard 2 miles with 50 colonies in it that you just don't know about. So if you spill syrup, it's always a good idea to try to wash it down.